And my message, basically, is to let us begin that journey of faith. That journey of faith. So I titled the message, The Journey of Faith. How far can you go? Come on, everybody say that. Say, the journey of faith. How far? Ask somebody, how far can you go? Look for another person. Say, it is the journey of faith. But how far will you go? It's a journey. That's one of the things I love about realm of glory. It's a realm that is deep and high and wide. Because the moment you say Thanksgiving is a journey of faith to Mount Moriah, it's saying it's not first and foremost, and it's not just all about your offering. Offering is part of it, but it's first and foremost a journey. Wow! I love this church. Thank God there's no coming back again. But if they used to have section in heaven, I would want the realm of glory section. With consecration singers. With you, all of you. Come on now. Come on, say we are on a journey. You know, a journey ideally is an adventure. A journey. And it's been said that life itself is a journey. Life is a journey. Faith is a journey. Your career is a journey. Relationships, another journey. Marriage is a journey. Are we talking? Ministry is a journey. Nationhood, nation building is a journey. The question is, where are we in the journey of nation building? How far have we gone? And how far can we go? As a matter of fact, I'm already picking a signal. And I'm really praying, because the not forgotten, not forsaken event that is coming up on Friday, with which we borrowed the birthday of the woman of God, November 30. I learned some people came last Friday thinking it was last Friday. Amazing. So one of the pastors that came sent me a message. And I said, that's a good one. It shows you are so expectant and so excited. Now you brought it 1 week ahead. But because we can't afford to have it 2 times in a month, we can't do it last Friday and do it this coming Friday. Right? It's taking us so much. If you look at the quality of what is embedded there, and it's not religious. That's why it's on the platform of CPG. We're using the auditorium, but it's not a church arrangement. It's a complex, it's a multi-purpose hall. So we're going to do a different arrangement. Amen. So we're flying in people from Abuja. We're bringing people from different places. And so much is going in. And it's all about sacrifice. At this stage, CPJ account is down. And only very few people have been able to keep giving whatever they were giving. And it's difficult to even ask people now to give more, because you know the condition of people. So, if you believe in something, if your heart is in it, your substance have to be in it. So I said, as long as there's something remaining in my own account, you can dip hand in and let it go there. So what the Spirit is saying to me, not forgotten, not forsaken is ideal. Like now we just talk about the soldiers that are killed. There still have to be another convocation and conversation before election, where some experts will come together. I don't know if it's going to be January or February before election, but we need a forum, not expensive, not like this, where we can sit down and talk about what should be the issues that have been focused on concerning election. We can no longer afford to be uninformed, illiterate voters. Someone have said what we need now is knowledge democracy. We can, if not, this thing is going nowhere. If we continue as we are, how far will Nigeria go in the journey of nationhood? What do we really need? Do we need restructuring? Well, I said it some years ago. We either restructure or we rupture. So those things are going to be dealt with. But I was saying that to say, nation building is a journey. Unfortunately, the progress of our nation is being arrested. But because we don't even know it's a journey. We don't know. People think it's all about power grabbing. It's all about election. And it's all about, having power to suppress some people and promote some people. And some people even want power for vendetta. Just to revenge. But talk to me. Say nation building. It's a journey of faith. So let's come back to this journey of faith. There are 3 points I want to give you, and I don't want you to forget. I'm aware there is communion. May that communion give you strength for the journey. And there is connect group. May you connect properly. I read a quote yesterday. He says, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. You can move faster when you are going alone. Yeah, but if you have to carry children, carry women, carry people, carry some men that are not too young, not too old, some men look pregnant, some, we have. So if you have to carry many people, you can't go fast. But you may end up going far. So to go far, you need many people. But to go fast, you go alone. So we want to go far, not just go fast. Come on, answer me. I thought it's food for thought. Is it food for thought or thought for food? Okay. So there are 3 things about this journey of faith. How far can you go? Number 1, I want you to see that the journey of faith is a far distance journey. It's not a short distance journey. The journey of faith is not like 100-meter dash. It's a long distance journey. May you have strength to go far. Number 2, I want you to discover where the journey is taking us. Where is the journey of faith taking us? Because we will go through places, situations, and circumstances. We go through some experiences. But ultimately, that's where the journey of faith is meant to take us. Including the Thanksgiving. Can you say amen to that? So, where is the journey taking us? There will be unknown things in between where we are and where we are going. But we have to know where we're going to end ultimately. And the last but not the least, I want us to see an example of how to go far. People that went far and how they went far. So let's start with the journey of faith. Is not a short distance journey. It's a long journey. Come on, talk to me. Say, my journey of faith is a long journey. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 indicates that the journey is not short. And I think this is why some people back out. This is why people fall out. Because you start your journey of faith, or even the journey of fulfilling your vision in life, you start thinking it's a short running effort to a short distance. So when you later discover and know that you have to go farther and farther than you thought, then you start crumbling. But if you know from the onset that you are in for a long journey, you have a different mindset. Hebrews 11 verse 1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. Are you listening? The evidence of things not seen. Now, do you know when things are far away, you don't see them close now? So the reason that issues of faith, even though it's concrete, it's substantial, it has evidence, the reason you can't see is because they are far off. The things we are believing for are not things that are at close range. He says faith is substance of what we hope for. And Romans chapter 8 verse 24 says, you don't hope for what you see. Okay, let me put that. Are you waking up or are you awake? Yeah. For we were saved in this hope, but hope that is seen is what? Is not hope. For why does one still do what? Hope for what he sees. Read verse 25. Listen to this. Verse 25, what does he say? But if we hope for what we do not see, we eagerly wait for it. With what? Perseverance. So, the fact that faith has to do with what you are hoping for shows that faith is aiming for something far away. There is a gap between where you are believing to attain something and what you're hoping for. There is a distance. There's a distance between what you're believing for, the position where you are, and when you are going to have it manifest in reality. If you don't factor that distance in mind, you will faint in the process. Perseverance is needed because it's not just something there that you quickly rush and touch. As a matter of fact, it's an evidence of what you don't see. And I'm saying the reason you don't see it is not because it doesn't exist. The distance is why you don't see it. How many of you know that stars appear to be small? But do you think they're really small? The reason it appears small is distance. The reason we can't see some other planets and other galaxies, and you need telescope, very sophisticated one, is the distance. So distance make things that are far off not to be seen, but they are real. So there are things that belong to you by inheritance, but because you need a journey of faith to cover the distance, you may not see them immediately. Hebrews 11, go to verse 13. Look at how verse 13 says. Hebrews 11, verse 13. They all died in faith, having received the promises, they all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them how? Now, the other people are not awake. Come on, let's read it together. Everybody, come on. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having done what? Saw them where? Saw them where? So the things that were promised, that they were believing for, were afar off. And some of them had to use their whole lifetime to cover the journey. But while they were afar off, look at what faith does. That's why faith is the substance. Faith is the evidence of what is far away, what you can see, what you can touch. You see, what faith does is that they saw these things afar off, and what happened? They were assured of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims. Pilgrims are travelers. As a matter of fact, that's the meaning of Alaji and Alaji. It just means a pilgrim, a traveler. Or JP. Jerusalem pilgrim just means you travel to Jerusalem. It's not a religious title. So it means you travel. It means you are experiencing some journey. So look at this. The things they were promised were far off. But by faith, they were assured. May you get to a point that the things that have been ordained for you, that are not visible, they are like stars far away. May you get to that point of assurance. Unshakable assurance. That's where you say, I am not moved by what I see or by what I feel. I am moved by what he says. They were assured, and they went ahead and embraced them. So faith can make you embrace what is far away. So that while you are journeying, you are interacting. The part of the destination is in the journey. Now, it's not like, let's just continue, we don't know how it's going to end. No, we know how it's going to end. Because by faith, faith like a telescope can bring closer what is far away. I say, listen, with your eyes you can see it, but it's real. And it's yours. And faith gives strength. Hebrews 11, before we leave that, let's go to verse 27 and verse 32. I love that. Say, journey of faith. I will go far. Verse 27. By faith, he forsook Egypt. Say, journey. Now, see, you are not journeying if you remain on the same spot. If you stay with the same experience, the same pattern of thinking, the same way of talking, am I talking to somebody? If you are not changing, you are not traveling. If you are not seeing things differently, you are not on the journey. Did you hear that? As a matter of fact, it says about Moses that before he started the journey, he counted the riches of Egypt as reproach. And he counted the reproach of Christ as riches. So before he took step to get out of Egypt, he has migrated in his mind. So we need a migration of mind. We need a mental shift. You can also call it a paradigm shift. So by faith, look at this. This is how journey starts. If you don't leave the bus station, you are not on the journey. You don't leave the train station, you are not on the journey. Not like the train station that Sowore of Sahara Reporter showed about Yaba. And comparing Nigerian train station with Ghana, South Africa. And he says, this should only be used for pigs. With due respect. Now, but if you can't say the journey has started and you are seeing the train station. You are seeing the airport. And you say, you are flying. No. To journey means you have forsaken where you are. It's so painful that our nation is not journeying because we are now back to pre-independence. The issue we're dealing with now is that foundation was faulty at independence. That's what restructuring is all about. That if we don't revisit it, this house has crumbled already. Do you get a point? So Nigeria is not journeying. We're stuck. There's stagnation. There's deterioration. There's retrogression. Because we don't have visionary leaders that can say we ought to move from point A to point B. That's why the same speech that General Muhammadu Buhari gave when he took over power in 83, if you read it now, it's still applicable now. We haven't left where we were in 83. So when you are still on the same spot, seeing the same thing, smelling the same thing, experiencing the same thing, saying the same thing, you are not on the journey. By faith, he forsook Egypt. Pull somebody and say, it's time to get out of Egypt. It's time to get out of your Egypt of captivity. Your Egypt of stupidity, of docility. Your Egypt of cluelessness. Your Egypt of unaware. Your Egypt of slavery. It's time to get out. Egypt where you are being intimidated. Where you are being harassed. Where it is only what the people terrorizing you say you hear. Egypt where you don't know you are stronger than your oppressor. Because the Bible says in Exodus 1 that the children of Israel were greater and mightier. And the Egyptians knew it, but they don't let them know. Do you know the political, like the political power holder, the politicians, they know the people are mightier. But say, keep deceiving them. Don't let them come to awareness. It's time to get out of Egypt. So he forsook Egypt. And what happened? Not fearing the wrath of the king. So fear can keep you in Egypt. See, I thought about this. Listen carefully. Please, 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 please. Look at me. I thought about this. And I said, when the children of Israel were slaves in Egypt, you know, they were, by the time they started the journey, they were around 3 million. Because they had more than 600,000 foot soldiers. Strong men, they're cool. So, with the women and the children, minimum, there were about 3 million. So 3 million people. The Egyptians didn't have 3 million oppressors, officers that were coming. Only some few come in uniform. Are you getting the point? And they were trying to regulate their number because they know they were growing faster. So if, let's even say 50 or 100 soldiers come and 3 million people rush them, would they be able to stop them? We were with senior advocate Femi Falana a fortnight ago. We had a training about human rights, and we went as a team. Some of us to represent CPJ. And he was saying some things. He said, in Yoruba parlance, they say the reason snakes are easily killed is because they travel alone. That as we're here now, if one snake just manifests, they meander. I know some people will jump fence. But there are some guys that will know what to do. If it's only one snake. Huh? But as we're here, if you see that about 5,000 snakes, you saw, I'm from window everywhere. Which one will you kill? It is because snakes cannot mobilize themselves to come as an army. So, it's because snake waka alone. That's why human being can prevail. The same thing. If it's lion and if it's all of that. Any animal that goes alone is in danger. Probably this is why Satan is trying to isolate us. And disconnect or isolate you. Even in the church, if they say connect, we say don't mind them. Connect with him. Because he knows when you are alone. Even the demons that was cast out, he says it's because I was alone. I need 7 more demons that are tougher than me. Then they can't cast us out. Right? So, I was thinking about it. I said, listen, even to change things in Nigeria, it is because the people are not mobilized. We're splitted along church line, along religious line. We're splitted here and there, and they divide and rule. And it's difficult for people with slavery mentality to develop unity of purpose. That's part of what we have to break down. Because as long as you are fearing, you will not activate your potential. Moses, did you see before he left Egypt? He had first of all went to take on an Egyptian that was oppressing an Israelite. And he said, oh, I don't care the power that be. He said, I'm leaving. He forsook Egypt, not fearing the rod of the king. He endured. Look at, that's where we're going. He persevered. Why did he persevere? I see him who is invisible. Why is God invisible? Because his throne is far away. You can't use your eyes to see. The distance between where you are physically and where his throne is, the distance can allow you to see. But with your heart you can see. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. If you can by faith see who is invisible, you are not on the journey. That's why if it's only what you see and handle you celebrate, your journey of faith have not started. It's not everything you can count that counts in life. The real thing that matter in life cannot be counted. Like your values, like your faith, like your prayer. Am I talking to you? All right, so let's get one more verse before we leave that to 11. Let's go to verse 32. I love this. This is the one I love most in Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11:32. Are we together? I can feel you. Are you there? What more shall I say? So he's been saying so much. Faith is an endless journey. What you have to explore in faith is vast. It transcends time and space. What more shall I say? For time will fail me. Did you see? Time is the one failing. Not for lack of what to handle. Time will fail me to tell about Gideon and Barak and Samson, and each of these are icons that you can double click and things will open up. If you click Gideon, you will see his own journey of faith. If you click Barak, you will see his own militancy on the journey. If you click Samson, you see supernatural dimension of the journey. Jephthah was abandoned, was driven away from the family. They said, because you are an illegitimate child. He said, well, you have just introduced me to a journey of faith. So he gathered refuse, people that are rejected, discontented, and began to train them. He said, my journey of faith begins by not sucking and regretting and lamenting and seeking for sympathy. Is to train myself and train others until they will reckon with me. So you click Jephthah, also David and Samuel and the prophets. 33, let's move it. These people who through what? Faith do what? Come on, if you are not talking, you are not journeying. Through faith they did what? Do you see kingdom is in plural? And kingdoms are not, they are not in a cell, in a prison cell. Kingdoms are scattered. Did you hear that? So faith is a journey to take you from one kingdom to another, from one kingdom to another, from one kingdom to another, subduing. So the journey of faith is not a local journey. The journey of faith is more than an intercontinental journey. So faith is not all about your location and your location. Am I talking to somebody? Habakkuk says in chapter 1, he said, when I was complaining and said, God, there is violence, there is no justice, there is no this, there is no that. God said, look to the nations. I want your faith to make you look beyond your location. If you look at Nigeria alone, you won't know how bad things are. If you look at Nigeria alone, you won't know how good things can be. Faith stretches you. Faith makes you to stretch and say, we have to subdue some principalities and powers. Even in our own conglomerate of nations. You know, Nigeria is a conglomerate of nations. And to subdue nations, you have to subdue their principalities. Their Hausa Fulani oligarchy, that their principality must be subdued. You know, all this feudalistic and all of these. Okay, there is Southwest, there are Yoruba principalities and power. That if you don't break them, Lagos has its own. If not, his kingdom will not be subdued. They are the one in Southeast, they are the one in South. So faith is a journey that lets you know there is much ground to cover. Are we talking? So help me ask your neighbor, on this journey of faith, I can feel you on this journey of faith. How far can you go? The subdued kingdom. See, this one say they walk righteousness. If you look at it in New English Version, NIV, or New Living Translation, he says they walk justice. Did you see that? They administered justice. Did you see? Most of the places you see righteousness is about justice. Are catalysts for peace and justice around? When I say CPJ, say global justice. When I say CPJ, okay, just say justice. When I say justice, say CPJ. CPJ, justice. Your righteousness is a personal gift that God gives you. The outworking of that righteousness is that you are committed to seeing justice. Did you get the point? So, they did what? They administer justice and they receive what God has promised. You see, it is as they subdue nations and administer justice, they were now able to receive what was far off. You can't be passive and receive the promise. You can't be passive. You can't be docile. It's not what gonna be. Kesera sera. This thing is not going to fall like purple. You come on Wednesday. We'll be talking. I'll be showing you how oppressors don't let go except there is forceful resistance. That's why we're going on Wednesday. So things will not change. You say, well, look at this. I think we need to correct this. I need to chip this in. I think we need to correct this. A lot of Pentecostal and theological misappropriation. You know, there is no king, no power, no president but God, right? Right? Romans 13. No one can get to power except by God. So even if the person rigs election and kill people, he gets there, it's God that put him. If the person is wicked and is allowing wickedness to continue and people are groaning, are you listening? Is God that still allow him? Is that correct? But does God say you that is righteous should not resist the one that is wicked? You're just answering. You didn't get what I'm saying. But listen. Listen. In Genesis 15, God told Abraham, your descendants will be in captivity for 400 years. Is that correct? He said, I will take them there. They will be there. He said, because the land I want to give you, the iniquity is not full yet. So it's my will for your people to, through adversity of captivity and slavery, to be in Egypt for 400 years. So they were there, plus and minus, for 430 years. When God showed up, he said, your cry have come to me. That's why I have come to deliver you. So if they have said, it's God that kept us there, we will not cry out. God will not show up. Okay, you wake up and get it. So God can allow, for whatever reason, a bad ruler to be there. But he doesn't ask you to lie low and be trampled. He expects intercession and strategic action. He expects you to show some resistance. He said, when I see your effort, then I will visit. All right. We need to correct some theology. So, where are we? Go back. No, go to Hebrews. Thank you. Go to Hebrew 11:33. So, they receive promises. They shut the mouths of lion. You know, lion can run fast. So, if you will use faith to subdue the mouth of lions, then you'll be quickened. Your feet has to be quickened. Come on now. Why are you looking like that? Next verse. Change it to the other translation. Yeah. They quench the violence of fire. When fire is burning, it spread. So with faith, you have to be dynamic. They escaped the edge of the sword. That army was coming. And the people want to use sword against them. They were able to escape. They know when to escape too. And it's not to put your neck there and say, you know, I have faith. Out of weakness, they were made strong. They became valiant in battle. They turned to fly. They pursued the armies of the allies. Next verse. Come on now. This is one. Women received their dead raised back to life again. Others were tortured, not receiving what? Deliverance. That they might obtain a better. Resurrection is something that seems far away, but they say that's what we're standing for. Next verse 36. Still, others had trials of mockings and scourgings. Yes, and they were in chains and imprisonment. God, this looked like activists. They were stoned. They were cut in two. They were tempted. They were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and in goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, and they wandered about. Say, journey of faith. Affliction may move you to and fro, but just make sure you're on the journey. Look at the next verse. They wandered about, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains and in dens and in caves of the earth. And all them, having obtained a good testimony through faith, did not receive the promise. Did you see that? What they were able to obtain through the journey was their testimony. Their testimony. Their testimony. Why? Because the last verse, look at that. The next verse says, the reason is that God had provided something better for us. So their own journey was to prepare the ground for us. Their own testimony was to serve as signboard for us. So the reason they did not receive the fullness of promise, they only had testimony through their worrying and weapons and moving by faith. The reason is because we should experience something better. So faith is not self-centered. The journey of faith is not self-centered. So that they should be made perfect. That they should not be made perfect without us. Okay, did you get something out of that? Come on, praise the Lord, somebody. This is why 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, why we look not at things which are seen, but at things which are not seen. Let me talk to you. The reason you are discouraged and depressed and and worried and your faith is failing and you are fainting and you have no more hope and you can no more pray. You don't even feel like going to church again. You don't feel like doing anything about Nigeria again. The reason is because you are looking at what is seen. The journey of faith, you have to take your eyes away from what you see around and aim at what is far off. Am I talking to somebody? Listen, when we were little kids, I have my neighbor. When we were little kids and we started traveling in vehicle, all of those bole kaja, that Paco. So when you are inside, some you have to back the driver. Some you face yourself. Except you are is it second class or first class next to the driver. Okay. So when you are in that place, if you look down, it will look like the vehicle is not moving. Now, if you are inside a big bus, if you look down, you will think the vehicle is not moving. But if you look outside, you see the trees are moving. The things you are seeing are temporary. But what you are not seeing that's permanent is your destination. That one is in your mind, in the mind of the driver. The things you are seeing around If you are on a journey of faith, they will pass. If you look down, it will look like you are stagnant. But keep your eyes and your heart on the destination. We do not look at things which are seen, but at things which are not seen. Because the thing you see, put it on the screen. The things you see are temporal. It is the things you don't see that are eternal. So do you see, the journey of faith is making you aim for eternal things. Things that cannot be shaken. So it doesn't matter what passed on, what you lose there. Are you getting who left you, who came to you, where you came to, where you left? Is part of the journey. It's part of the journey. When you're on a journey, you have to make up your mind. It may get to a point, some people may no more go with you. You are still on the journey. You may not be able to carry some stuff with you. You are still on the journey. Oh, I have left some things behind. It's part of the journey. And I'm not looking at those things. All right, let's close. Are you still there? Come on, somebody shout. Say, I am on a journey. The journey of faith. And I'm determined to go far. The last 2 points, I'll just sum it up. Is, where is the journey taking us? Where is the journey taking us? If I want to spiritualize it, which is part of what I aim for, I will give you Psalm 17, verse 15. The ultimate of the journey that you should keep in mind, regardless of what is happening around, is Psalm 17, verse 15. As for me, I will see your face in righteousness, and I shall be satisfied when I wake in your likeness. So the journey is not just about a physical place. It's about becoming. It's about what you are beholding and what you are becoming. This man, if you have read from previous verses like 13, he said there's some people, they enjoy the things of the world, they have many wealth and riches, they have children, they have this. He said, but all of those things will not satisfy me. As for me, go to 15. As for me, it is when I behold your face in righteousness. My destination, what I'm aiming for, is to be able to see your face as if I'm looking at you in a mirror. And then when I see you, I will be like you. Then I will be satisfied. That's the destination. The destination is to start to get back to where we started. In the beginning, we were made in the image of God. And we're meant to become his likeness. So we are journeying back to God. Did you hear what I said? So the journey is not America. It's not getting green card to go and live in America. If he sends you there on assignment, well and good. It's not UK. It's not because there's infrastructure in some places. The journey is what you are becoming. Because if you go to America, you go to EU nations, and you don't become what you should become because you can't behold what you should behold. When you get there, you'll still be an underdog. It's not, the destination is what you are becoming. Are we talking? So I want to live that. We're going to pray now. Listen to this. Don't miss this. Touch to people. Say, don't miss this. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. Don't look at me, please. Look at me. Listen to this. When he started with them, Exodus 3, 16, 17, he said, I have seen your affliction. I've come to, I've visited you. I've seen your affliction. I'm taking you to a land flowing with milk and honey. If you read Exodus 3, 17, where was he taking them? Land flowing with milk. I need to hear you. If you want to enter your own land, you better say it out. Where land? Which land was he taking them? Land flowing. So as they were journeying, did they come to a place and say, welcome to land flowing with milk? Oh yeah, they fetch honey, they fetch milk. It's a metaphor. It's a figure of speech. So the place flowing with milk and honey, as a matter of fact, if it doesn't flow inside you, you won't see it outside. Hello? Because now I hear Pentecostals say, it's taking me to my wealthy place. The wealthy place must start inside you. Hello? So, listen. He's taking them to a land flowing because they were slaves. That's how to get slaves' attention. Touch two people, touch two people, touch two people. I say, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Listen, listen. To activate them on the journey, they say, here, they no go, they give you milk, small again. Where you are going, the thing is flowing. You wake up, you will see milk. You move, you will see. They say, what did I see they do here? Hello? Hello? They came out. The first milk and honey they saw was Red Sea. On the way. See, the journey of faith will bring you in direct contact with obstacle. Moving from glory to glory. From strength to strength. T-O, is total obstruction. Total opposition. But in their mind, they say, since they say there is milk and honey, if we can cross Red Sea, let's go. All right? But listen, in Exodus 19, God now gave Moses the hint. He said, you saw how I took you out of Egypt? You saw what I did to them? Verse 2 or 3 says, to bring you to myself. To bring you to where? I am that place flowing with milk and honey. Your relationship with me, the inspiration, the ideas you get, is somebody hearing me? Huh? Look at that. Go to verse 4. Go to verse 4. Go to verse 4. You have seen, verse 4. Put it there. Put it on the screen. You have seen what? What I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you. Say, I'm on a flight of faith. I bore you. You are not going to walk out on feet. I bore you on eagle's wings. And brought you to where? Tell somebody, that's the lamb flowing with milk and honey. It's your relationship with him. It's the ideas he will give you. How to cultivate your land. How to transform your environment. That's the lamb flowing with milk and honey. And he said, I carried you. Because you go through the desert. You go where there are serpents. You go through the Red Sea. You go through mountain. It's a very difficult, but at a stage, I will carry you. On eagle's wing. So on this journey of faith, I prophesy to you, the Lord will carry you. The Lord will carry you. Angels' wing will carry you. The Lord will bear you up. He's bringing you to himself, to a place where nothing will be lacking, nothing will be missing. That's the destination. The last but not the least, how far can you go? How far can you go? Check Abraham. We're going to pray now. Listen. How far can you go on this journey of faith? Listen to me. Look at me. Abraham is the father of faith. Is that right? Now, don't just start with Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah was the peak, was the apogee, the ultimate of where Abraham ended. Right? That's not where he started. Listen carefully. We're going to pray. I pray you will not be stranded. You will not be stagnated on a wrong spot in your journey of faith. I pray the devil will not use people to trap you before you get to your destination. You will get to your divinely ordained destination. In Genesis 11, verse 33, I hope. Look at how Abraham started. He didn't start on Mount Moriah. It's a journey. Is it there? Genesis 11, is it verse 32? You don't have 33. Just check any 30 you see there. That 31, 32. Look for any 30 something. Yeah, thank you. So, Terah, go to 31. You will see that it was Terah, the father of Abraham, that took his son Abraham and his Abraham, thank you Abraham, and his grandson Lot and his son Haran. I mean, the son of Haran, right? And the daughter-in-law Sarah, Abraham's wife. Where did he take them? They went out with him, with Terah, the father of Abraham, okay? Look, from all of the Chaldeans to go to where? They went out to go to where? To go to where? And they came to where? Haran. And did what? Says stagnation. Abortion of journey. Termination of journey. Is Haran Canaan? They allowed the wrong person to take the lead. They did not own the journey. The man took the lead. And Abraham, where do you say we're going? He said, God said Canaan. He said, be following me. The moment they got to Haran, he said, the name of my late son is Haran. You didn't hear what God told you. Our journey will end in the memory of Haran. That's what the father said. I said, let's stay here. And they stayed there until Abraham was 75. People thought it was there at that time God called Abraham. The journey started, but it was aborted at the wrong location. But in Genesis 12, God came again and said, Abraham, go out for yourself. If you read in Young Literal Translation, it said, go out for yourself. And to the place I said, not Haran. Wherever you are stuck, the Lord is calling you out. On this journey of, I want you to come by faith next Sunday. What you give is an expression of your conviction. But don't let what you give or you don't give hinder you. Talk to me, say, I'm on a journey. God say, come on, come on. I will not leave you where your father left you. I will not leave you where situation left you. And the Bible says as they were going, verse 4. Look at that. Look verse 4. Look verse 6. We're going to stop now. Listen. Abraham passes over. Did you see that? Abraham passed through. So in journey, you have to pass through. You were meant to pass through Haran. You are not meant to stay there. You are meant to pass through the valley of the shadow of death. You are not meant to stay there. You may pass through lack and want, but you will not stay there. You may pass through discouragement, but you will not stay there. You may pass through some losses. You may pass through sickness, but you will not stay there. Talk to me, say, I'm on a journey. Look at verse 6. Look at verse 6. Look at verse 6. Look at verse 6. Abraham passed through. Go to verse 8. Go to verse 8. No, verse 9. Let's do verse 9. Let's do verse 9. What does 9 say? Can you read verse 9 with me? So Abraham journey going on still. A better translation say towards Negev. South there is Negev. Abraham did what? Push somebody and say keep journey. Push somebody and say don't stop. Keep going on still. We stop too soon. We stop too soon. Abraham, he got there. God said this is where he built an altar. And he said, I need to explore. I need to search. I need to journey further. I need to make some discovery. So he journeyed still. He journeyed still. He journeyed still. Listen, Abraham's journey was what made him pursue to restore Lot. It was part of journey of faith. Abraham's journey was part of what made him pray for Sodom and Gomorrah. It was part of the journey of faith. Because when God visited him, he journeyed with God. Like Enoch, he walked with God. Am I talking to you? Like Noah, he walked with God. It's a journey. Sometimes the journey will make you pray. Sometimes the journey will make you fight for people. Finally, God said, Abraham, take the best you have. That's Mount Moriah. Say, I'm taking my best. It's not in size, it's in quality. Take your best. The best you have ever gotten. What is precious to you. And go on a far journey. I want you to stand up. The journey of faith ultimately will cost you the best and will take you to the highest.